Right back here on the show, Larry, Brad, and Mike. And, guys, we spent last fall, as everyone around the country did, talking about Deion Sanders and that hot start. But boy, his act is wearing thin very quickly in Boulder for a guy who could do nothing wrong for about a month. And now we were talking here in the break, that bizarre news conference where he's like attacking reporters and whatnot. What's going on with Deion?
I don't know. I think when you don't win, eventually you become everybody becomes an enemy, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's kind of I don't know. I think it's I think he's just he's starting to feel the pressure because he talked a big game. Once again, it goes back to you back it up before you talk it, right? I mean, do it before you talk. And he's kind of talked, and he could do that when he was cornerback. He can't do that when he's head coach right now.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue that he has is, in my opinion, he was the best cover cornerback in my lifetime. Now, maybe Night Train Lane in the 50s, who knows, but he was the best cover
Wait,
cornerback in football.
you weren't alive then?
Yeah, I was not alive then.
Oh, okay.
But
So,
I will say, and he was treated as such. I mean, things he did at the Cowboys were incredible. But he's just another coach, and to be mad that somebody called you the second to worst coach in the conference when you haven't had a winning season,
yeah.
I don't know why you're mad.
Yeah. I mean, look, you began the year 3-0, and boy, I mean, we talked about that ESPN may just, rent out space right there at Folsom Field, right? And just move right in. And they would have, except he then lost 8 of his last 9, and some in spectacular fashion. There's now reports he doesn't want to go off campus to recruit, which is an absolute taboo death knell in college football. That does not happen. You're only gonna get so many players based on, your name. That doesn't happen either. It's one of those things where I'm with you. It's like, okay, well, while everyone was loving on you, you were good. And now the chips are down. What are you also modeling for your players, right? You talk about character and this is how we do things, and it's the Colorado way. I'm not sure, look, I know he signed, extension, and they were happy because they sold every seat and all those things happened, all the great attention, and it was worth millions and millions of dollars of free advertising they got thanks to ESPN and others. But how long do you hang if you win 4 games again? How long do you hang on to this if you're Colorado?
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
No, I don't
what do
either.
they say? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And I'm not sure it is.
Well, God knows if Deion ever sees this. Of course, he might have to be hard pressed to find it, but if he ever sees this, we will hear about it because this will fuel his fire. And again, Deion, we're saying you are the best defensive back of all time, but the bottom line is you're not the best coach.
Well, coaching's hard. It's hard. Ask
you
guys have coached.
So's being a defensive back. I mean, he's good
You know
at
what?
one,
You
and
have
not the
more.
other.
The one thing is you have more control. I mean, as an actual player, you have more control than you do as a coach. A coach, you can draw diagram the best play ever. You can come with the best game plan ever, and they still have to throw it, catch it, whatever, not trip over their own feet. Somebody has to hit the block, whatever it is. I mean, so yeah, being a player, you have much more control than you do if you're a coach. There's only so much you can do, and I don't know if he handles that very well.
And how would he handle it if a coach didn't want to come and see Deion play? A coach said, "You need to come and see me." Deion would have crossed that guy off the list so fast it'd make that guy's head spin.
No question.
Yeah. Well, guys, on a lighter note, we close out with a story here that talking about the top 10 sexiest athletes. Go ahead. I got nothing.
Well, I think it's this one we had was the sexiest NBA players or sexiest.
No, it's athletes. It was labeled as NBA players because Ja Morant apparently is number 1, but
it was all males.
Well, yeah, exactly. Male athletes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Well, here's a question I had for you, Brad, because you're a Las Vegas Raiders fan. There's a lot of guys in the NFL. I'm not real good pick of who's like better looking or not, but is Jimmy Garoppolo really number 1 in the whole NFL? I've not seen anything that says like that's the guy.
I don't know. I mean, I've never dated him, so I can't tell you. But I would say this. I mean, it's considered above average in height. They had an annual base salary, so money is in their rankings.
Well, of course it is. That's why we're not in there, Brad. That's the only reason you and I aren't in there.
I was there, when they did the facial analysis, I was right there. But yeah, just the annual salary.
It killed me.
Killed us, I mean, so.
And then I guess, look at this, the number of monthly attraction related Google searches.
Yep.
That's the fourth.
Is that
indicator.
also part of it?
How many times they shirtless and nude? They were searched. Monthly Google search thing. So, yeah.
Well, come on now. Jimmy G, when he was a second round pick out of Eastern Illinois, when he was at a combine, there was a story that one of the coaching staffs that interviewed him as part of the process were stunned to find out he didn't have a girlfriend. Well, and they were like, how could you look like that?
I guess, Larry, I stand corrected.
So, I mean, so.
And Steve, Mike Trout, he made it. So injuries don't seem to be a problem.
No, for Jimmy G either.
Yeah, you're allowed to be injured. Those guys, see, it doesn't damage their facial structure because they don't play.
Maybe they get a lot of pictures in street clothes. Maybe that does that. I don't know. I mean,
there you go.
If folks think that we're jealous, we are.
We are. Yeah. So much so. You should see the disgust on our faces.
There's nobody who's old on these lists either, and so that's a bias against us.
Exactly. Yeah. We're too old, too fat. All right, we got to run. Appreciate you guys as always for listening in. Same time, same station next week. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you.
Didn't you mean we have to waddle away?